Hello my lovies, and welcome back to another fabulous episode here, where this is the last video that I am going to probably be pre-recording for you at the moment, and that is the mid-year book freakout tag. I did this last year. I don't know if I published it though, if so I'll link it down below, but I did remember I answered some questions. I can't remember if I published it. It's weird. But either way, we have 13 questions here talking about a whole bunch of different books. So let's jump straight into it, as it's going to be kind of a lengthy video. This is because we have reached the mid-year point. As you can tell already, I've been dropping mid-year videos all week. This actually might be the first video I drop. We'll have some worst books and best books as well this week, and some TBRs and some vlogs. That's in store for you for the week of June 10th through the 14th. But anyway, the first book we're going to talk about, the first question, which should be popping up on the screen right now, is the best book you've read so far in 2018, which it took me a long time to really figure out which book I think I was going to give this to, but I'd say my number one book I've read so far this year, because I'm in between a few different other books, but my number one would probably be Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this not that long ago, and honestly, it was just beautiful. It's an amazing audiobook. That's how I recommend the book. And I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I loved everything about this book. I enjoyed it so much. And I enjoyed Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing. And I enjoyed how I felt that I was there with them the whole entire time. I really liked how she wrote an interview style. If you guys don't know what this is about, it's about the band called The Six. The first few hours of the audiobook takes place on the Six, coming from a not so popular band to a really popular band, and then Daisy Jones shows up, and then shows all the complications of Daisy Jones leading up to present day. It's from like the 60s to the present day, which is like 2012 or something like that. It's very good. I highly recommend if you've not picked it up yet. It's one of my favorites of the year, one of my favorites in a very long time, to be honest with you. But we're going to move on to the next book. The next book, actually, I do own, which is pretty cool, so it's not going to be popping up over your screen, but is the best sequel you've read so far in 2018, and which, hopefully nothing drops back there, this big stack, and that is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Now, technically, this is not a sequel, and I understand that, but it is a companion novel to, The Hate U Give, or Thug, and I think this is an amazing book. This follows Brie, who wants to become the next famous rapper. She releases a song on SoundCloud, and that song goes viral, and she might get what she wants. There's also a lot of other things, but the way Angie Thomas handles the character of Brie, which I'll talk about later on in this video actually, and how she handles the relationships dynamics, and how everything seems organic. And also, I just love being back in Garden Heights, which is when The Hate U Give was one of my favorite books of last year, and so I just love being back in that world. Personally, I couldn't ask for a better sequel, and I'm hoping her next book maybe follows on that character, or maybe we're time to move out. Personally, I would love another book following Brie and her story going forward, as I am very curious by it. But either way, we're going to move on to question number 3. Question number 3 is a new release you haven't read yet, but desperately want to. And that one, also kind of interesting. I'm in between a few new releases right now. I'm reading them as as we're talking, and so I was going to use one of them, and I remembered, oh wait, I have 2 that could go for this. I don't want to hold up both because I've had this stacked in a certain way, but I have 2. I'll mention it later on, so we'll talk about it then. It just came out, but another new release is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Avocito. Is that right? Yeah. She wrote The Poet X, which was one of my favorite books of last year, and I'm super anticipating this. It has to do with cooking, Teen Mom, something like that. Either way, very much looking forward to it. Didn't really need know much about it, except for the fact that it has Elizabeth Avocito in it, and that's it. That's all I need to know, basically. So, yeah. We're going to move on to the next question, though, because I personally think, I don't know, I'm very excited. Have you read this? Let me know if it's any good. I've heard some really good things about it, so hopefully. Now, question number 4 states the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I don't have one because I don't know what's coming out. Sorry. So we're going to skip it, and we're going to move on to the next book. Next question, which is the biggest disappointment of the year, in which you guys will find out in my worst books of the year. But I'd say this is more of a disappointment than a worst book, and that is Buffy. I'm going to put the Volume 1 cover up for Boom, but Buffy's issues number 1 through 4, and Volume 1, the complete arc that does cover issues 1 through 4, I was extremely disappointed with reviews following this whole entire thing, and I'll link them down below. Number 4 review will be coming out later on this month, and then I will have a discussion video where I think they can go with Buffy coming out next month, so if that's something that interests you. But not super impressed with it. I thought they could do better. Personally, I think everybody thinks they can do better. Overall, I don't know. Did you like it? Did you read it? Did you enjoy it if you read it? Most of my reviews turn into Reddit reviews for them, so either way, not the biggest fan, but that's okay. We're going to move on to the next question. The next question is the biggest surprise, in which I wouldn't really say this is a huge surprise for me, but I would say out of all the books I've read so far, this one would become the biggest surprise, and that is Verity by Colleen Hoover. Verity follows, well, okay, my relationship with Colleen Hoover is mixed. I've never read a book of hers. I've read really bad things about her books. I watched a lot of Reddit reviews about her. And then I've also read sections of other books, and I thought her writing wasn't the best. So I was very, very half tempted to pick up Verity, only because of the hype reviews for it. And her love for the book. I mean, you always want to pick up a book that the author, like, truly loves. And she self-published this. And so there's a truly love thing here. This follows Lowen, who gets a job for the author, Verity Crawford, to come finish her series that she's been working on for years, like a decade or so. And she has 3 books left in that one series. And she goes to her desk and she finds Verity's autobiography, and inside that autobiography is haunting details that maybe scare her. I don't know. You have to read to find out. I think Colleen Hoover's writing is superb here. Her story development, at least of what I've read so far, like I said, I'm not officially done with it yet, but what I've read so far, I have to say, I'm totally in love with. And, yeah, I highly recommend at this very moment. That could change. Look out for my worst books years and see if it makes the list. I'm sure it'll be in the best books if it makes the list of any list. I would say it's probably the best book right now. It's right sitting around a 4-star read for me. Next question is a favorite new author. This can be a debut or a new author for you personally. This one is a debut for one, and this is Shannon Doddy? Is that how you pronounce it? Something like that. She wrote My Lovely Wife, which can be appear on the screen. This is a thriller. Her writing was beautiful here. Her craftsmanship was spectacular. And her story was just great, and she's definitely a person that when she releases her next read, when she releases her next book next year, hopefully, I will be picking it up without a doubt, and it's not even a question. It's so good. I highly recommend it. It's very, very graphic, I should say, in certain details. It's about a couple, husband and wife that's been together for 15 years, and they start murdering people in like 4 years prior to the book begins, and it's about their life and their journey of murdering people. That's basically all you need to know, because it's messed up. It's good. I highly recommend it though. That will be popping up in a list. I'll be talking about more in length of why I loved it in a different video coming up really soon. But we're gonna move on to the next question. Next question is newest fictional crush. I definitely do have a new fictional crush. It's not my top fictional crush. My top fictional crush will probably still go to Travis Maddox from A Beautiful Disaster. He's an asshole, but he's an asshole I want to love. But my newest one, I would say, is Joshua Templeton from The Hating Game. He's also an asshole, but he's so sweet as an asshole. It's hard to explain. You have to read a book to understand it. And he's a dream, you know. He's my type. He's just, I love reading. You know, I'm happy that it's not from his point of view. I'm happy it's from our main character's Lucy's point of view. You guys don't know what The Hating Game is about. The Hating Game is about 2 co-workers who hate each other, who have to work together for multiple reasons. And I'm absolutely in love with him, and I loved him throughout this whole entire book. It's just so good. So beautiful. Oh my gosh. He's so beautiful. But that's my fictional crush, so we'll move on. Next one that we're talking about is my newest favorite character, which goes back to Bree Jackson, who is our main character of On the Come Up. Now, I'm assuming your new favorite character does not be a main character, or it could be a character from a multi-personality book. Doesn't really matter what it is, but for purposes or not, Bree Jackson here is one of my favorite characters of all time. It is one of those books that is just so beautiful, and her character is so well developed and so realized. I really thought I was hearing a story by Bree. There's so many lines in here that are just so, like, it just made me really happy, made me really sad, and I really related to her. And personally, like I said, once again, I just really recommend the book, especially for the main character that is written by Angie Thomas. And with that being said, I really do hope the sequel, I really hope we get a sequel to On the Come Up. I don't really see Angie Thomas being a sequel type of person, but if we did, I definitely would not be crying about it, personally, because I think there's so much more story for Bree. Particular, just like there's so much more story for Star, I think I prefer Bree as a main character than Star. Star was an amazing main character for The Hate You Give, but I just related more to Bree Jackson, and I just loved Bree Jackson, I think, much more. But that also being said, the next question also follows this book, and that is the book that made you cry. Question number 11 is. And this book definitely made me cry in several different parts. I have a whole vlog / review about it that I will link down below. And of course, any of the other books that I have any reviews for, I'll link them down below as well. And you can tell that I cried in it, because I did. It made me cry. It's an emotional wreck. But I loved it. Highly recommend it. Please pick it up. Next question is a book that made you happy going against a book that made you cry. I actually do own this book, but it's downstairs, so my mother is reading it, or my mom is reading it. She would hate that I said mother. And that is Maybe Another Wife by Tara Jenkins Reid. And I honestly, it's a mixed bag for me, but the storyline with Ethan, not Gabby, I'm not going to explain what the book's about, but the storyline with Ethan, not Gabby, Ethan's storyline made me completely happy. That's my favorite of the year for most of that storyline. I really, really enjoyed it, and I think it's just so cute and adorable, and I think it's really well written. Gabby's storyline I didn't really like, but that's okay. But we're going to move on to the next question, since I don't really want to go into graphic details of the reason why, because I do contain spoilers. And the next book is the most beautiful book you bought this year, and or received, or any type of thing. And I have actually not really bought any books this year, so I don't really have to answer this. So I would say I would assume it's going to be Again But Better so far by Christina Riccio. It's not my favorite cover. I do understand why the cover is the way the cover is. But I would have to say it's because, hold on, of the inside flap. I love the inside flap. The print here is very, very romantic, very, very taken to the main character of Shane, and I just really, really enjoyed it. I also like the gold on gold. I think they did that, like, really, really well. But I also like the colors. But I think it could have been a little bit better. But then again, I'm not one to judge. So, yeah, probably not. Oh, you know what? I have a book for number 4. But guess what? We're past it. The next thing we're going to be talking about, the last question, is question number 13. Which is, what books do you need to read by the end of this year? I have 5 here that I need to either finish or read. Oh, wait, hold on. 6 here, because Again But Better is a part of that. So we have Again But Better by Christina Riccio, which follows a girl named Shane who goes she is on a abroad trip for her college, and she's going abroad for a year, and she meets a guy named Pilot. They fall into it. It's a romantic comedy. It's amazing. I love it so far. I just have other things I have to do, and so I've yet to pick it up. I've yet to pick it up since I picked it up before at the end of May, and I'm really looking forward to picking it up in July and finishing it then. But very, very much looking forward to it, and it's definitely my most anticipated. The next book I'll be picking up quite soon, and that is I Wish You All the Best, right? Yeah. By Mason Denver. I watched the whole entire process of this book on Twitter. I'm very, very happy for him. I could not be more happy for him that he got his book published. I'm not entirely sure even what it's about. I just know it's a gay romance. That's it. And it's probably like a hard-hitting, complex gay romance. So, into that. It's not super long either. Just, in just 3 words, I am non-binary. That's all it takes to change everything. So, very, 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 very excited for this, guys. Oh my gosh, am I so excited for this. So, I'll let you know how it is. I'm reading this for the Buzzword Readathon, which starts, I think, the week you're seeing this. So, that's exciting. The next book has been on my TBR for a hot minute now. And, of course, you guys are probably guessing what these next books are, because they've all been on my TBR over and over again. And that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I am going to literally spend time tackling this book. I'm only this much of the way through of this big book. And I think this is the last Sarah J. Maas book I'm actually going to pick up. I might try Throne Glass, but at least out of this series, I don't think I'll move on to Rings and Ruins, as I personally just don't think I'll care enough. But I have heard this is amazing. So, ultimately, I'm very, very excited to finish it. At least, you know, it's too heavy. I'm going to put it down now. But, yeah, I'm just excited to finish it. The next book we're going to be talking about is Rabbit and Robot by Andrew Smith. This is Andrew Smith latest release. It came out in August of last year. I got it when it came out. I pre-ordered it, whole 9 yards, and I've still yet to read it. And it is definitely something I'm mostly anticipating. It's definitely very pretty too, but I got it last year, so it doesn't really count. And yeah, so that's my opinion about it. Really, really excited. Don't really know how to describe it. Just, if you want to read it, read it. If you don't, that's okay. Next book we're going to talk about is Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Iometi, which is also another beautiful cover. And it also, I've read a chunk of the way through. I'm going to try the audiobook, I think. Go back and forth between the audiobook of this one. So, hopefully I can pick it up very, very soon. But, not entirely sure. And the last book is a book that I should have finished a long time ago, and that is What If It's Us by Becca Italian and Severa. I'm not going to talk about my journey with this, but it's been a long one. And guys, that is the mid-year book tag, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please give me a big fat thumbs up, comment down below, hit the subscribe button. I normally post videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for BookTube. SimsTube is Monday through Friday, and I stream every morning from 10 to 1. If you like Sims, I tend to stream Sims. All these other links are down below, and if you want to follow me in my other channels, I have a vlog channel for my Twitch streams, and I also have a channel dedicated to my movie stuff with my brother. So if you want to follow any of those, of course, those are all linked down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll link the questions down below as well. And if any vlogs or anything contain these, I'll try to link them. I can't promise. There's a lot of things I'm doing, okay? So, yeah. But guys, enjoy this video. Please like, subscribe, and do all those fun YouTube things. I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.